Ah! Oh, there we go. Yeah. Wait. Is this how I've always looked? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Though it's been 3 days, I'm pretty sure this is how I've always looked. Yep. Nothing's. Yeah. No, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Okay, let's. Oh shoot! Dang it! I gotta write. I wrote down what happened last time, but like. Oh, oh! What are you doing? Oh, playing music that I don't know if I can play. Doom. Boom, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Continue. I always think it says configure. Yes, continue. And then quick load? Meow! Oh yeah, my cat's here. She's watching. No, we're in chapter 3. Yes. And she keeps scratching me. Bum ba bum bum. Yes, load this. Oops. There we go. Yeah! I did? Is this gonna be the beginning of the chapter? It is. We weren't at the beginning though. God dang it. Why am I like this? Ow. My cat keeps scratching me. Stop. Is this it? Wait. No, yeah. We'll be lost. Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is where we were? Need to go ahead and do this. Bum ba da bum. Ba ba da ba bum. I'll sit in the chair. Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. I gotta turn my brain on. Click, 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 click. Put some oil in there. It was a screensaver featuring Saria, a character from Bloodtoon. The animation. Rumi Sakihara had been here in this container house just half a day ago, but now it's only occupied. But its only occupant was its owner, Takumi Nishijo. It was getting close to 5 a.m. Takumi's daily life revolved around playing video games until dawn and passing them out on the sofa. Right now, he was curled up in a cramped position on the sofa. He didn't sleep on the bed, like. Oh, oh my gosh. He had one, but he didn't sleep in it because it was piled high with CDs and manga volumes. Get a shelf. Although, there isn't really any room in this room for a shelf, so I don't know. At first, he'd just been too lazy to clean it off, and then at some point, it began to function as a storage shelf. Ever since then, he'd been sleeping on a 2-person sofa. An awful moan slipped from Takumi's lips. His body was soaked with sweat and his eyelids were twitching. He might have been having a nightmare, probably. His expression warped with a pain. He He kept tossing and turning as he lay there, almost falling off. Suddenly, his eyes opened wide, and he stared at the ceiling. His eyes were bloodshot, and the eyeballs themselves seemed to twitch a little. He stood up without blinking once, because he cut his eyelids off, and you can't blink with no eyelids. He didn't sit down. Instead, he moved the mouse while standing up. The screensaver on the monitor disappeared, and it was replaced by his desktop. Yep, that's how it works. Although I kind of do think, like, with stuff like that, when, like, they explain stuff like that, I will say I don't really play a lot of visual novels, but, like, I think that's kind of the point for Chaos Head to, like, explain things like that. His expression, illuminated by the pale light of the monitor, was vacant and empty. His body trembled and shook from side to side. Drool pooled and fell from his mouth. He looked exactly like the typical sleepwalker. He's sleepwalking. Oh, I should move out of the way. He opened his internet browser in a trance and went to the page for Atchan. His movements were slow and uneven, but there was no hesitation in his hands. He went directly for the news board. Yeah, newsboard. There we go. Newsboard's new gen threads. There were almost 60 in all, and Takumi opened every single one. Whoa! His gaze was locked on the screen, and he was typing on the keyboard without looking down at it. Whoa! No way. He typed a message into each of the 60 threads. The message he typed were short ones, and the same message was posted in every thread. Whose eyes are those? Boom, 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 boom. Wah, wah. Back at the hospital. The next day, I headed to the hospital. Last time I hadn't been able to get the assurance I wanted, but today, I was going to make them tell me I was sane. I am sane. Look at these eyes. Look at these. Look me in the eyes and tell me I'm sane. Look me in the eyes and tell me I'm sane. You can't, because you can't catch my eyes. Is this what a sane person would do? Probably not. Or maybe I'd say I'm sane and I just did that. But maybe I'm insane. Oh! Whoop! Beep, 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 beep. Boop. Beep, 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 beep. I was going to have the doctor remember me. I was going to tell him that I was his patient until 4 years ago, and then I was going to have him listen to everything I had to say. Yeah. I wasn't the crazy one. It was a demon girl, and Mizumi. I knew that's what he would tell me. This hospital opened at 8 earlier than a lot of them. That's why I decided to come right on time. Only to find the lobby sofas packed with old people. Whoa. How? How could there be this many people here when it had just opened? Had they all cheated and got here before it opened somehow? That's not fair. Yeah, they were waiting for it to open. They camped outside because they wanted to be the first one in. Little they didn't know, everybody else did that. I was angry, but I didn't have any choice but to wait. Yeah, there really is no other choice other than waiting, is there? It was made after. Oh, oh, okay. I thought my cat was falling. It was after an hour of waiting that I realized I should have made an appointment. Yep, probably. But very shortly after, they called my name, and I was relieved to see that I wouldn't have to wait as long as last time. Nice. A desk. Let's go sit on it. I'm in the walls! Ooh! Oh, wait. I was like, well, let me put myself behind the text, but I can't do that because we live in different planes of existence. The text and I. But the doctor waiting for me in the exam room wasn't Dr. Takashina, but a white-haired old man I'd never seen before. I'd never seen this guy. Yeah, where is he? The nurse standing behind him, Hazuki, I think, answered apologetically. Oh. Isn't here?
もういないというか、過労がたたって先週末に倒れてしまわれてね。今週はそれでずっと休みだよ。
Dang. That sucks. Oh no! My one ally! Or ally. Wait, I don't know. Oh shoot, I was gonna say something but I forgot. Wait, was it really overworking that made him collapse?
陰謀だ。悪魔女の陰謀だ。
西条さん
They got up and left. She must have poisoned his food or sent him a threatening letter to stress him out. It was the demon girl's doing. She wasn't trying to... She was trying to isolate me. I had no intention of letting anybody but Dr. Takashina talk to me, so instead of getting an exam, I filled for... Huh? I fled. Oh my god. I fled from the hospital. Ran away. Ooh. Wah, 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 wah. This is my private place. These are my private things. Oh, go to the washing machine. Time to get clean. Whoa, 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 whoa. And then it spits it out into the dryer. It also spin dries. And then I sit under the umbrella. Whoop. Ka, ka. Ah, damn it all. I leaned up against the fence on the roof and looked up at it. What's up there? Shibuya sky was an ugly color.
病院にはもう行かない方がいい。
The only hospital you would ever go to. Now there's no hospital for you to go to. The demon girl's net was closing in on me. Maybe there was nowhere for me to run. Maybe that detective I'd met yesterday was actually a fake and working for... Maybe she'd use him to test me. I I mean, the timing was just too good. It'd be a coincidence. Wait. It'd be a coincidence. She showed up in my room right after the two of them approached me. She was a demon after all. She wasn't human. She could easily control somebody's mind. I didn't have any proof of this, of course, but I also didn't have any proof that she wasn't a demon. Yep, that is true. So I just had to assume the worst if I was going to survive. Wasn't there anybody on my side? Everybody felt like my enemy. Everybody felt like they were working for the demon girl.
助けて。誰か助けてよ。
Why didn't I have anybody on my side? Probably because you don't talk to anybody. That's one reason. Why was no one helping me? Why did this have to happen to me? I felt so lonely. I wanted something to support me, someone to protect me. Something to protect me. Anything, anybody who could offer me help.
見つけて早く
Ah, yes.
そうすれば
Fine.
君は救われるわ
Yes, she might be on our side. Let's go. Suddenly I remembered those words.
ケン。
The sword. If this was a video game, the plot would probably involve me being a hero who needed to find a legendary sword to defeat a demon king. Oddly enough, I'd heard the word sword from 2 3D girls lately. And there was still a chance that FES was on my side. Girl B, Senna, I think, was likely on the side of the demon girl from the way she acted, though. A sword.
剣を手に入れるんだ。
Yeah.
そうすれば。
I whispered to myself as if I was in a trance. I was willing to cling to any hope, no matter how small. If I could get the sword, it would be released from this. Oh my god, why do I keep reading it weird? I would be released from this nightmare. I didn't know that for sure, but I had to hope. I didn't 100% believe FES when she said it would bring me salvation, but I didn't have any other options. I decided to just look into it and see what I found. Ooh, let's sit in that chair. Oh! Now I'm the search. I ran a search online. First, I checked to see if there was any anime where characters had swords like the one FES and Senna had, but I didn't find any. I'd mostly seen that coming. I always kept an eye on upcoming anime, yeah. There were 30 or 40 each season, so it was pretty hard, but I always watched the first episode of each series, then decided if I was going to continue it. And, of course, I could watch anything that was on satellite TV using MewTube. Mew. Mew, mew, mew. Oh, so he watches anime on YouTube? I did that when I was like 5. And in middle school. 5 till middle school. And then I used Kiss Anime, and then like now I just use Crunchyroll. Fun fact, did you know Crunchyroll used to... No, I won't say that. I'm scared. Oh, wait, yeah. I'm playing a game, that's right. And I'm so little. Oh, now I'm big. Yeah, that looks good. I wonder if that's the same size I was before. I fixed nothing. And I hadn't seen any anime with weird swords, especially with such a distinctive shape. Ooh, what shape? Just kidding. I would have been sure to remember them if they'd shown up, and I didn't see anything like them at all. Unless, of course, I'd been controlled by someone else when I watched the show. Next, I decide to search for the swords themselves, not anime. How'd that work out?
くそ、ほとんどがゲームの攻略サイトじゃんか。
Yep. And some of the swords that came up in the results were ones I recognized well, like Iso's, Shanagiri... Shanagiri Law Edge? I wasn't getting anywhere. I needed to find that sword fast. I had a feeling that Senna Girl had said something more specific. What was it? Remember. Think. Remember, or you'll be stuck in this nightmare forever. Think.
答えろ。
Oh, bother.
見えるんだな。ディソードが。
Oh, wait. Yeah.
ディソード。
Right, the D sword. I searched for that word. And I got... Oh, hits. I got hits. Ooh. Just two, but these two things felt like the path that would save me. Desperately trying to calm my excitement, I decided to click on the top one first. Shit. It was down. Damn it. Why did it have to be a dead link? Come on, come back to life. No. I needed to calm down. I just had to go back and click on the cached version. The page had an illustration. It was based off a description in an old text, supposedly. Oh? Wiki.
元ネタは伝承か。
An old legend, huh?
でも、
Ooh.
セナって女が持ってたのに比べると、こっちは随分地味だな。
It's almost like I'm holding the sword. If I could bring my hands up here. I can't hold the sword. This is as best as I can do. But it's not nearly as cool looking as the ones that Senna girl had. Why did it have to be such a minor weapon anyway? Why couldn't it be Excalibur or the blade of Kusanagi or something else big and famous? No, this wasn't the time to complain. Whether it was famous or not, if it was going to save me, I didn't care. I decided to look into it a bit more. I tried the second link on the search page. Ooh, this guy's doing some deep research, huh? The phrase, I bought a D-sword, stood out to me. Could you buy D-swords? Possibly. The author was evidently a man, which meant it wasn't the demon girl or Senna. You don't know that. How do you know that? How would... Yeah, okay, whatever. And they certainly didn't have the same writing style as Shogun. Either they were a different person entirely, or the person writing the blog was deliberately disguising their writing style. Oh, hey, you know what I just thought about? This game has went through 3 of my models. Because the first one, the first stream has, like, the first model I made. Then, like, the others have, like, the second model I made. And now this one has this model I made. Wow. There was no way to tell from here, so I stopped reading. These days, you don't see many stories as weird as... I can't follow. The store? The store the page referred to Town Vanguard as evidently in Shibuya. It felt like too much to coincide, or maybe I was being paranoid. Probably you're paranoid a lot. But that, yeah. Maybe the reason I'd run into 2 girls carrying D-swords in Shibuya was that the place selling them was here. Weird things got popular with small subgroups of people here in Shibuya. All the time, right? Yeah. I searched for Town Vanguard. But I couldn't find the store's page. I didn't find a page with a map, so I downloaded it. If they didn't have a public page, they probably didn't have an online store either. I searched the Taboo auction site too, but I didn't find anything. I'd have to go to the store directly to see for myself. I didn't really want to leave the house, but...
剣は手に入れなくちゃ。手に入れないとダメなんだ。
At this point, it felt like the one good option for fighting off the demon girl. I didn't know what exactly I would do once I got the sword. I didn't have the courage to try to kill her with it or anything. But something inside me made me think that if I got the sword, maybe I'd feel just a little less afraid. That was it. The D-sword, was like a good luck charm. Something to keep me going. There was something strangely compelling about it. Boom, 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 boom. Open the door. Where are we going? Probably to get a sword. There's that guy again. That guy's been sitting everywhere. The store was somewhere near Cat Street. I'm a cat. Or cat wishes, I guess. It looked like Cat Street was a twisty street that ran alongside Meiji Street. The main connection between Shiba and Harajuku, I'd heard once that it was originally a river that got filled in. There were a lot of theories as to why it was called Cat Street. Some said it was because there was a lot of strays there. Others said it was because the street was narrow as a cat's forehead. A common expression in Japanese. Not that I cared anyway. Either way, yeah. Oh, wait, no, about why it's called Cat Street. Okay. Cat Street was a good distance from here. It would take at least 15 to 20 minutes to get there. A bike would get me there faster, of course, but I didn't have one. I think it's a little silly standing at the street looking at it, taking a long time to think. Oh, I guess that's not that silly. When you put it like that, it's not that silly. I didn't want to go near the station, so I opted to go through Shoto and cut across to Mayashida Park. I walked a little fast across the bridge over Meiji Street. Phew! I was finally here. I was in such a hurry, I was starting to get frustrated at how long I was taking. Cat Street was, compared to Center Street, much quieter and felt more like Harajuku than Shibuya. All the stores were selling a scare clothes, the kind I'd never had any interest in. Daishible? Oh my god. This guy. Oh wait, did I read it right? Yeah, I did. This guy. Wait, let's go see what that... Yeah, here it is. Oh. Japanese net slang meaning hip or fashionable. Ooh. I wish it would tell me how to pronounce it. Oscar, I assume. I could tell that I was out of place. I was walking down the street and I got more and more upset. This was totally outside my usual territory. There were a lot more couples than there were in Center Street. I could tell they were all window shopping. Lol. Trying to show off because they didn't actually have any money. Losers. Oh my gosh. This guy needs to take a look in the mirror. I almost regret it. Regret. Oh my god. Regret. It's just one of those days, you know? I almost regretted coming, but I choked those feelings down and told myself I need to get the sword. I walked as fast as I could, face glued to the map, trying to avoid making eye contact with people around me as I headed to my destination. Dang it! I'm back where I was! Town Vanguard was down a narrow street off Cat Street.
ここか。
So this is it. One step down a side street, and the whole place felt very different. The alley was narrow, cramped and dirty, and much too small for a car to travel down. The buildings were all old, traditional wooden houses, or empty stores with their shutters pulled down. Excuse me. And all the shutters and graffiti sprayed on them, too. Whoa. Imagine a world. You see, even if Cat Street looked fancy with its luxurious brand storefronts, That was all just fake. This dingy alley was the real Cat Street. Yeah. How do you know? What do you, some guy whose job to know this? Just kidding. Boom, 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 boom. Behind the facade, it was nothing but garbage and run-down old buildings. Of course, I didn't like the backside any more than the facade. I wasn't any more at home here than on the main street. I only had one home, Iso. When he's not, when he always thinks about it all the time. He's got nothing else to think about. Dare to read this? Wait, hold on. Town Vigard turned out to be smaller and gloomier shop than I'd expected. Wow. I couldn't tell why the blogger who'd mentioned it had called it underground. It's above ground. So therefore it can't be under because it's above. It's on the first floor. Just kidding. I wasn't paying attention to anything that was going on. There was a sign reading open, but it certainly didn't seem busy. Going inside felt really hard. I had to do the little puzzles to get in. It was too much. I was too much of a wimp to go in to a fast food place all by myself. How could I go in such a creepy looking place? Well, there's nobody in there, so I think you'll be fine. I wanted to go home. No. I needed this sword. What was I supposed to do? I went back and forth outside the shop for a while. There was absolutely no one else in the dark alley. I spent 30 minutes wandering around, trying to muster up the courage to go in, and not a single soul came by. Many times I almost felt brave enough to go in, only to give up at the last second. But I couldn't give up and go home empty-handed. This was the only place I could get a D-sword. But my instincts weren't willing to let me go inside. I had a delusion where the shopkeeper came out to meet me. Of course, she was a cute maid, and she spoke to me in an anime voice. She knew exactly what I wanted, and offered me a D-sword with a friendly smile. Please take... Oh. Yep, that's what she sounded like. Please take this sword, master. Wait. Should I do an anime voice? Ooh, please take the sword, master. I could be such a horn dog sometimes. Okay, calm down. Everything would be so much easier if this happened. I told myself, and maybe my wish was heard by someone, because a 3D girl did come out of the shop. Her outfit wasn't anything like I expected, though. It was some kind of ethnic clothing. This guy, I tell you what. It looked really flashy, but the girl herself seemed really gloomy. She had long hair done up in an afro, tied up in a bandana with a strange eerie design on it. See, she said she'd gotten sick of watching me wander around outside her store, and so she came out to check on me. My delusions hadn't become reality. Well, of course, That could never happen. Before I knew it, she dragged me inside the store despite my reluctance. I hadn't even had time to say no. I'd ended up inside. I'd overcome the first hurdle at last. But what if this store was actually owned by the Demon Girl and the whole D-Sword thing was a plot to lure me here? Could be killed at any minute. Oh, I could be killed at any minute. I looked around the dimly lit shop. There were no other customers. The air was stale and there was a thin haze. It smelled like a mix of cigarette smoke and mold. 5 minutes in here and I'd probably be ready to throw up. Calm down. I could see what I looked like. I could see what looked like merchandise, but I couldn't tell if it was for sale or not. It was all placed randomly through the store, and to tell you the truth, it might have all been garbage. It's not your kind of store, I get it. It certainly didn't have pictures, price tags on it. And I realized after I got inside, there were a lot of adult porno toys. There were things you saw in... Yeah. I try not to look at them. This place must have been some kind of adult knick-knack shop. Despite how eager she was to get me inside, once I was past the door, the woman quickly ignored me. She sat down on her stool next to me to the register and smoked a cigarette. So this haze was at least partly her fault then. What? I hadn't even been inside for a whole minute. But the combination of nervousness and embarrassment was as well as sick I was... Why is this hard? As well as how sick I was feeling was making me sweat hard. I wanted to get out of here as soon as possible. Time to find the D-Sword fast. I walked toward the back, looking at the shelves as I went. I quickly found the fantasy weapon corner that the blog I read had talked about. This one part of the store stood out from the rest. There were several toys lined up carefully in display. The toys themselves all looked cheap. Actually, I realized they were mostly just different colored lightsabers. Some of them were so cheaply made that they were obviously fakes. I wasn't sure if they would even light up. The light up shurikens that the blog had talked about were sold out. It seemed that was kind of a surprise. But there was one thing mixed up with the lightsabers that was very clearly different from others. A sword. Just one look at it and I recognized that the D-Sword was just like the one I'd seen online. I picked it up. It was lighter than I expected, but it wasn't... what was it made out of? Soft plastic? There was no blade. The edge was smooth. I ran my finger across it, and of course it didn't hurt at all. Compared to the one that Senna and FES had, it didn't have any weight or complex design, and it certainly wasn't sharp. And maybe it was a fake. I was a little worried, but this was the only thing in the shop that could possibly be a D-Sword. Did this even light up? The one FES had been swinging around the concert had some kind of glass embedded on the blade, which had lit up with a pale light. It was really cool. Ooh. But there was no glass on the one I was holding. Maybe I should just give up and buy it. The D-sword was such a piece of junk that I was ready to give up even after coming all the way here. But
見つけて早く
I found it. Oh,
そうすれば
yeah.
君は
I forgot to
救われる
push the button. I remembered FES's words. Right. If I didn't buy it here, I wouldn't have any clue as to where to get another one. Maybe it just looked cheap when it recognized its rightful owner. It would suddenly transform into something with incredible power. Possibly, if that's what you think is gonna happen. And maybe I'd just seen too much anime and manga. Oh, but Senna and FES both had D-swords. Wait, I'm trying to remember how they said that. I think they did say D-sword. That seemed to possess a strange strength. Maybe this sword would turn out to be the same. What should I do? I don't know. Why are you asking me? Wait, how do you know I'm here? As I stood there uncertain, the clerk came up behind me. She grinned a gloomy smile and pointed at the D-sword. 10,000 yen and I'll throw in a little bonus, she whispered. Oh, no, I'm not gonna whisper. I was so stunned at how cheap that was. I couldn't believe my ears. I had some decent savings built up from my RMT business. 10,000 yen was cheap enough that all I'd have to do was pass on buying a single figure. When I heard the price, and also that it was the last one in the store, the store had, I bought it immediately. The bonus was a cheap bangle? A bangle bracelet. Total garbage. The true nightmare began once I bought the sword. Town Vagar didn't ship. You had to walk home with anything you bought. Even if it was a toy, the idea of carrying this huge sword across the middle of Shibuya was enough to quench my excitement. I felt. Wait. Oh, yeah. I'd already paid, though. The clerk steadfastly refused to return my money. This was going to be incredibly humiliating. You know what else is incredibly humiliating? You. Take a look in the mirror. I had to walk down some of the most fashionable streets in Tokyo holding a giant toy sword. Of course, the Daikun. That's right, I remember looking that up. Of course, the Daikun couples and well-dressed ladies all chuckled at me as they walked by. Damn it! I wish they'd all die. I headed home. Delusions filling my mind of me swinging the sword wildly and murdering everyone. Oh. Everyone. Yeah, okay. Ooh, excuse me. It's a little much. From like 0 to 100. Home, sweet home, me humble abode. I was finally home. I started running once I'd gotten close, and I was out of breath by the time I got up to the base. The cold gaze of the people I had passed had really stung. I don't know how Senna had managed to endure this humiliation. It was something I could respect in a way. There was no way I could do it. Huh? Suddenly, I heard a sound from the other side of the base. Was someone here? Frozen gasped. Oh, and it was just a little deer on the top of the roof. Just a sweet little deer. It's a baby. It still has its spots. Wait, on top of the roof. I remembered the smile I'd seen on the face of the demon girl who'd called herself Raimi. Maybe she'd come back this time. Maybe she'd come to kill me. Finally. What should I do? Run? Stand still? And let it happen? Just kidding. Maybe. I could sense the presence of someone in front of me. The setting sun cast someone's shadow on the ground. It was clearly the silhouette of a woman. I quickly raised my D-sword. Holding it in my hands like this, I realized what a piece of crap it was. The one Senna had held had a strange power and intensity about it. But mine didn't seem to have anything like that. Maybe it was fake after all. Could I really fight with this thing? Probably not. Not even if it was real, I don't think you could do it. Not a chance. Even if... Oh! Whoa, what? I predicted. Even if it was real, I still couldn't actually fight someone with it. Holding it in my hands, it felt weirdly heavy. Maybe I was holding it wrong. He's holding it by the blade. He's like, I don't know, am I holding it right? I didn't feel like something it didn't feel like something I could actually swing like a weapon. And the handle keeps cutting me. Oh, dang it, I'm holding it by the blade. The shadow suddenly began to move. It was coming closer. I closed my eyes, thrusting the sword out in front of me at a random angle. Not that I expected to hurt anyone with it. But I had a faint hope that this sword maybe, just maybe, help me. But then nothing happened. My foe didn't say a word. It was all in my head. Maybe the D-sword had annihilated the demon girl with a single swing. If so, that would be incredible. Yep, I would also be impressed, actually. I opened my eyes, but instead of the demon girl, it was Nanami. She was looking at me with contempt in her eyes. Wow, this guy's an idiot. The tension drained from my body. I collapsed where I stood. Yeah, but to be fair, it's probably pretty easy to scare you. This was just awful. She was an awful sister. What kind of awful sister likes to entertain herself by scaring her brother? Who the hell did she think she was anyway? This was why 3D girls would always be inferior to 2D ones. Alright.
いつもみたいにお兄の生存確認しに来てあげたんじゃん。なのにお兄いないんだもん。なんでナナが30分もお兄のこと心配しながら待ってなくちゃいけないわけ？
Wow.
貴重な時間が無駄に消えてっちゃったじゃん。お兄のバカ。
30 minutes, that is a long time. Wait for this guy. Worry? She was worried about me? I refuse to be fooled by such an obvious lie.
で、どこ行ってたの？出かけるなんて珍しいじゃん。携帯にかけても繋がんないし。
Let's see. Should I tell her where I was? I left the phone in the base. I knew nobody would call me, so there was no point in taking it.
そもそもその剣何なの？もしかして買ってきたの？
Yes. She was staring at the sword, looking a little confused. Just a little bit.
わかった。アニメのおもちゃかなんかでしょ？ほんと、お兄ってオタクさんだね。しかもこのおもちゃ、ちっとも似合ってないよ。
Thanks.
さっきだってへっぴり腰で構えちゃってて。思い出したら笑えてきた。
Don't get anything to say, huh? I ignored Nanami and opened the padlock on my room, then tried to head inside.
ちょっと、無視すんな。
帰れ。
You know I'm alive, now go home. She was always making fun of me and did nothing to complain. Every time she came here, if she really hated it that much, then she should just leave. I certainly didn't want her here.
あのね、わざわざ様子見に来てあげてんだから、もっとありがたがってよ。せっかくお土産まで持ってきたのに。
A present? She pouted at me.
お土産？
そう、お母さんが持ってけって。ほら。
She handed me some mandarin oranges, 10 or so, in a red net bag. Oh, excuse me. I did a hiccup. It wasn't a great present. I'd eat mandarins if there weren't any lying around, but they weren't exactly a favorite of mine. Eat the oranges or the mandarins. Eat
というわ
them.
けで、ナナもちょっと一服したいから、一緒に食べてあげる。
All 10 of them. 5 for you and 5 for me.
もう、妹がお土産持ってきて、しかも一緒に食べてあげるって言ってるんだよ。もっと喜びなよ。
Yeah, you should be happy anybody wants to hang out with you. What was there to be happy about? Why would I want to eat oranges with my little sister anyways? She probably just wanted to eat some herself. She was always a big eater. She used to always eat my food too when we got in fights about it all the time. Nanami went inside the base, ignoring my protests. I had no choice but to follow.
お茶ある？あったかいのがいいな。
Of course not. I only drink soda. Oh my god. This guy's gonna get kidney stones if that's all you drink. Well, not like I'm anyone to speak. Nanami sat down on the sofa and took out an orange. I sighed and set the D-sword up against my computer desk. I didn't need bangle? So I tossed it. Bangle? What's a bangle? Bagel? I don't know. So I tossed it off into a corner.
あれそれ何
Anatomy quickly picked it up off the floor. Oh,
かわいいバングルじゃん。これも買ってきたの？お兄にしてはいいセンス。
cute. How? It was a cheap thing, probably not worth more than 500 yen. Nanami had terrible taste. I ignored her and took a seat at my desk, grabbing an orange as I did so.
ねえねえ、なんでこれ捨てちゃうの？
だっていらないし。
じゃあさ、これナナにちょうだい。
はあ？
Yeah, why not? You're not gonna use it? If she wants it, she can have it.
いいじゃん、どうせ捨てるならさ。たまにはお兄ちゃんらしく妹にプレゼントの一つでもしてよ。
It's not a present, it's just some junk you want. So,
勝手に持ってけば。
yeah.
本当？やったー。
Yippee! Here's her in the bracelet. She was certainly easy to please. As soon as I gave, as soon as I gave the okay, she quickly put on the bangle on her arm. Such a cheap little sister enjoying a cheap gift.
お兄、どう？似合う？
全然。
Oh my god.
あ、そう。
Okay, I'll go burn it.
お兄のバーカ。
I gave her a present, right? So why is she treating me like this? What kind of little sister calls her brother a jerk? Where did she learn to do that? Go play 100 H games, then learn how to behave properly. Oh my god. No. No. She was smiling too. I was really getting angry.
これ
Good.
気に入っちゃったからもう返さないもんね。っていうか、お兄からプレゼントもらうなんて初めてのような気がする。
That's sad. Maybe.
しょう
I
が
don't
ない
know.
から大事にしてあげ
Oh,
る
wait.
よ。
Now you've been at Christmas or birthdays? Whatever. Nobody asked you. I didn't even buy it for you.
もう用は済んだんだから帰れ。僕は暇じゃないんだ。邪魔するな。
Oh my god.
うん。
Suddenly she looked upset. Yeah.
そんな言い方しなくてもいいじゃん。それに、みかんまだ食べてないし、お茶もまだ出してもらってないよ。
おめえに飲ませるお茶はね。
Oh my god. This guy.
うんか。
She glared at me, shoulders heaving with rage. Eventually her eyes started to tear up.
わかったよ。そんなに邪魔なら帰る。
ああ、さっさと頼んだ。
お兄のバカ。お兄なんてみかんの皮で目つぶし食らって失明しちゃ
Yeah.
え。あと、バングルは返さないからね。バカ。
Good. Do it. Her high-pitched yelling echoed through the room as she grabbed her bag and flew out the door with incredible speed. Pew! At last, the storm was finally over. Every time I talked to Nanami, I felt exhausted. Why did she keep coming when she knew I didn't like it? Read the room. Whoa!
ファーストメルトは期待以上の結果に終わりました。GE レートの上昇率は当初の予測からわずかな誤差があった程度です。
バイオリズムコントロールも順調なのかね。
渋谷の GE レートは他のエリアと比べて高い値を持っていると同時に安定性についても特筆したものがあります。
それゆえに意図的に操作しやすいということか。そして渋谷にいる人々のバイオリズムを急激に引き上げることもまた。
実験結果についてはレポートをご参照ください。納得していただける成果を上げております。
貴様が成果を出すのは当然だ。そのために高い金と多くの人材を提供しているのだからな。
実効性については理解しているよ。この数ヶ月だけでも我が会の信者が数倍に膨れ上がっているからね。
それではプロジェクトノアは次の段階へと進ませます。よろしいですね。
コードサンプルの件はどうするのだ。すでに3人分は確保したとはいえ、目標数値には達しておらんではないか。
いかにも。数値達成のためには最低でも5人分はなければ厳しい。
Minimum?
サンプル保持者は集まりつつあります。あとは採取するのみ。
ならばその件は任せる。
信仰の救いあれ。くれぐれも慎重にことを進めるように。
はい、心得ております。
Whoa, that was a weird dream I had. Just kidding.
そろそろ寝るか。
Probably. I bit back a yawn and looked over at my PC's block. It was showing 5 a.m. Wait, should I be in this? Yeah, I'll be in this computer. I'd spent the whole night grinding in ESO and hadn't gotten the rare item I wanted. Dang it. 8 hours of work and nothing. Well, it happened a lot. I looked over at the side of my computer desk. The D-sword I had bought yesterday was still there. It was close enough that I could grab it at any time. That it's not gonna protect you. I don't think it's gonna work the way you want it to work. It hadn't glowed at all. For what it's worth, I was hoping that at some point it would transform into an awesome weapon like the one Senna had, but it's still just the same way it always was. On the monitor, Grimm's avatar had just leveled up. My Nightheart was max level, so he wouldn't level up again. Never again. Never. As I rubbed my tired eyes, I wondered if it was time to make a third character after Lisolette. I found myself thinking about experience points. They were something you saw a lot in video games, but the way I saw it... Whoa, excuse me. There were experience points in real world too. When I started ESO, I'd been a completely clueless newbie, but now I was Baselord's famous lightning-fast Nightheart, the game's ultimate warrior. So, for instance, was it possible that that some of the person inside me's experience points had reset somehow? Maybe that's why I'd forgotten things that I should have known. Maybe that's where the weird inconsistencies in my memories had come from. Like with Shogun or the Demon Girl. Before I'd lost my experience points that the person inside me had used the nickname Shogun in chat. Maybe the Demon Girl Reimi had been a big part of my life too, and I wasn't a friendless otaku. Maybe. No, that was going... No, that was going too far. Preposterous. I'll always be a loser. No matter what. But maybe before I'd had some kind of incredible power that would have let me fight the Demon Girl. I wonder if I was the only person who could come up with an idea like this. Not that it really seemed that strange to me. Humans could only ever judge things by standards they created for themselves. Did that mean it was possible that I was not just me, but everybody else in the world was wrong about everything? Possibly. When I was little, I'd gone to the dentist, and they said to me, "You did a great job not crying when it hurt too much." Back then, I'd felt kind of proud for enduring the pain, like I'd done something special. But looking back, they were probably judging me, judging how much pain I was in by looking at how bad the cavity was. But maybe the same level of pain was really bad for some people and not so much for others. Maybe the way people felt things or sensed things was totally different. Take giving birth, for instance. I have seen a lot of people online, for instance, saying that women could handle the pain, but men couldn't. Or what about marathon runners? Maybe what made them special wasn't their stamina, but the way they could endure pain. Or maybe take S&M. Some people enjoy receiving pain, and some people enjoy giving it. And maybe everybody had different ways of experiencing their senses and different levels they could endure. Maybe the toothaches and headaches that I had sometimes had to put up with were a level of pain beyond what an ordinary person could handle. Okay, and if I could pass that pain to them somehow, they'd die on the spot from shock. Oh, okay, I see what he's doing. All this speculation left me with the selfish delusion that I was somehow special.
特殊な人間か。
No.
っていうか、何を大げさな。
Yeah, no. I denied it, but I'm sure it was a delusion everybody shared. Every man wants to be the strongest in the world. Everybody wants to think they're special, chosen. They want to believe a dramatic future filled with adventures waiting for them, like on TV or in the movies. The desire to be a hero, I guess you could call it. It was childish, really, of course. I had the same desire. Maybe it was my desire in life to defeat the Demon Girl. Of course, if someone actually told me to do it, I'd have several conditions. I needed cheat codes, obviously, like God mode for one thing, or inconceivably, I didn't want to be scared or get hurt. If I couldn't have that in other worlds, if I had to do it right now, I would absolutely refuse. which meant that if the person inside me's experience points had been reset, I might be at a big disadvantage. Boom, boom, boom. I was almost late today. Maybe staying up till dawn to play games before a school day was a mistake. I had to run to make it on time. Beth, I didn't want to do anything to attract attention to my classmates. Being late was a potentially fatal mistake if any Daikyuns took an interest in me. My life was over. I slowly walked into the classroom and my head was pointing towards the ground, and I avoided looking at anyone. Even me, I go to the school. Ooh. Of course, I didn't give anyone a cheery good morning. I tried to make myself as invisible as possible as I headed for my seat. That was how I always did things. Oh, whoa, I'm almost lined up to this guy. Like usual, Hold on. There's something in the way. Like usual, I reached my seat without any issues and sat down. And closed my eyes and took a nap. I quickly put my head down on the desk. Now I'd be safe for the rest of homeroom, or so I thought until I was lightly tapped in the back.
Yo, Taku.
Dang it.
今週は3回も学校来てんじゃねえか。真面目だな。
Mizumi again. I sighed, but it wouldn't be right to ignore him. I began to raise my head and stopped. Was this Mizumi? Really, Mizumi? 2 days ago, I'd called him to let the demon girl, like the demon girl had told me to, but something had been very wrong. He'd acted like the demon girl was in our class. That was impossible. And maybe the demon girl had brainwashed him, or maybe he'd become somebody else entirely.
おい、どうした？早くも爆睡モードか？
A loud electronic noise echoed through the classroom. I felt a slight vibration near my chest. It's your phone! How long is it? It's your phone! Yep, it was your phone. Damn it, why now of all times? What kind of idiot would call at a time like this? Don't they know I'm busy? And why was it playing the ringtone when I'd set... Why was it playing the ringtone when I'd set it to vibrate? Maybe I messed up the settings. Probably.
鳴ってるぞ、タク。
I know that. Should I answer now? But if I didn't, Mizumi would know that I wasn't asleep. And now, I didn't like answering the phone anyway. If I didn't answer, though, it would annoy the rest of the class having my phone's ringtone drown out the rest of the classroom was bad. I needed to stay invisible. This was really bad. You're letting it ring for so long.
おーい、出ないのか？マジで寝てる？
Now I'd missed my chance. I couldn't move. Suddenly, the sound and vibration stopped. It must have gone to voicemail. I let out a sigh of relief, being careful not to let Mizumi hear me. I was glad I'd learned how to set up voicemail.
なあ、タク。相手は誰だ？ まさか女か？この前一緒に帰ったあのメガネの子だろ。そうなんだろ？
Gosh, shut up. I'm already attracting too much attention because of the phone call. Please, just leave me alone. Was Mizumi always this annoying? Yes. He was always too friendly, but he hadn't always been this annoying, right?
やめなよ。
Yeah. That voice. It was coming right next to Mizumi.
そっとしておいてあげたら、大臣。なんだか疲れてるみたいだし。
She was in the classroom acting like she belonged here.
どうせゲームのやりすぎだろ。お前、タクに甘すぎるぜ。
だって大臣は女の敵だし。
Yep.
そういう人には優しくしません。
She was talking like she belonged here. She was fitting in like she belonged here. I was too scared to look up. I didn't want to admit that girl was there.
ま、別にお前に優しくしてもらわなくても、俺には優しくしてくれる女はたくさんいるんだよ。
Oh my god, this guy.
だからそういう発言が良くないんだってば。彼女さんが聞いたら泣くよ。今の大臣の彼女が誰だかわかんないけど。ほら、チャイム鳴った。先生来るよ。
Here comes the teacher. Had the demon girl really always been my classmate? No, that was impossible. She wasn't here 2 days ago. Mizumi was the only one who'd talked to me that day, and I hadn't come yesterday. And now she was here today? How had she wormed her way in? As a homeroom chime rang, everybody headed back to their seats. I fearfully looked up, trying to see as much as I could without moving my head. I wanted that voice to be a hallucination, and for that to happen, I needed to prove she wasn't in this room. I didn't see her. I didn't see the girl. Maybe it was a hallucination. My seat was in the 5th row. There were 9 rows in all. She wasn't in the seats in front of me. Did that mean she was behind me? That can't be. I'm in the last row. But I didn't look back. I couldn't do something that would attract so much attention. Ooh. Damn it. This was so frustrating. She was in the room, or was she in the room, or wasn't she? I didn't feel like the prickling on my neck. Nobody was looking at me. I couldn't sense anybody's gaze. Was she here? Was she not here? Which? I stared down at my desk, trying to see if I could sense her. Then I heard the sound of the teacher coming into the room. I forgot their name. It was Tsukuji or Tsukada or something, I think. It was the phys ed teacher who and he was a huge meathead, but he didn't yell or do any physical punishments either. If anything, he was the kind of teacher who could take a joke. What's that mean? There was a mild murmur of surprise going up and down the classroom, but I was too busy thinking about the demon girl to worry about it. How the hell was I supposed to sense anybody? This wasn't a manga. Was I just stupid? Yes!
今日から転校生が入ることになった。
The teacher spoke in a whisper. So, what's the fuss about?
ほら、折原、みんなに挨拶しろ。
You could do it. I couldn't hear the transfer student's voice. She was really... was she really here? I took a quick glance at the front of the room. Yeah, that's a good way to find out if somebody's up there. Sure enough, there was a girl there. She was really tiny. She might have been smaller than Nanami. She looked kind of weak and timid in a moe sort of way. She was pretty cute for a 3D girl, and maybe, for some reason, there were tears in her eyes, and she was looking down. The class started to murmur louder as it became clear that the transfer student wasn't going to say a word. The teacher gave her a reassuring pat on the shoulder.
どうやら折原は緊張しているようだな。よし、挨拶はいい。みんな、この子は折原梢だ。仲良くしてやってくれ。折原、席は一番後ろだ。席についていいぞ。
The transfer student bowed silently and started to walk toward me. Her seat would be 4 rows behind me. I thought about pretending to follow her with my eyes as she walked so I could look back and see who was there. But if I did, I'd stand out a lot. Some daikuns might see me and say, "Don't stare at the transfer student just because she's cute." Then they'd try to beat me up. Yeah, get 'em! What should I do? Turn around or wait until homeroom ended? My head dropped as I squeezed my fist tightly. It was no good. I didn't have the courage. If I turned around and saw the girl...
この人似てる
Whoa. I don't know. If somebody ever says they were like, the character we're playing as, red flag. I could hear her speak. The transfer student passed by me. The next thing I knew, I was looking up. Whoa, she's got a sword. The transfer student stopped for just a single moment as she walked by my desk. But she didn't look toward me. She was holding what looks like a giant iron plate. Huh? I blinked and it was gone. What was that? Was I seeing things?
同じクラスでよかった
Uh-huh. She quickly passed by my desk. Was she talking to me? Why was she suddenly talking to me? Like me. I'm glad we're in the same class. Had we ever met before? No, I don't remember her face at all. There was nothing in my past involving a long-forgotten childhood friend either. Nothing out of an H game. You should stop basing things in life on, like, your games. Maybe I was finally starting to get popular. Or... was the transfer student with the demon girl? If so, the net was closing in even tighter. It would be harder and harder to run away. Homeroom came to an end as I tried to figure out the answers to the new doubts that were rising within my mind. There were 5 minutes until the first period started. Mizumi was already on his way to the new girl's desk. He was evidently aiming to start hitting on her first day. Like the jerk he is. My other classmates were all curious about her as well. The classroom was a lot noisier than usual. On the surface, it was a peaceful, ordinary day. But to me, it felt like I was in the middle of an enemy camp. My heart was pounding so hard and wouldn't calm down. My whole body felt tense, and it took a lot of courage just to move a single finger. I was fighting the impulse to turn around with the knowledge that doing so was suicide. Oh no. Dang it! Don't talking to me! My breathing almost stopped. My mind went blank. My voice was right. Oh, the voice was right behind me. She was here after all. She was right here. No, I've never been okay. Run! Run! I tried to, but my legs were shaking too much to stand up. As I sat there frozen, the demon girl Reimi Sakihara came around to my friend. Oh. This guy is such a sweaty guy. He sweats so much. Just like she had 2 days ago. She sounded worried about me. Just like she had 2 days ago. She offered me a floral-scented handkerchief. I didn't take it in. Instead, I wiped the sweat away with my hands. I couldn't even look at her. I could hear her voice that she was smiling through. With who? Reimi crouched down and put her hands on the desk, resting her head on them to look at me. She was looking at my face again. I looked away as fast as I could. Damn it! She was not going to let me escape, no matter what. My heart was about to burst from fear. Somebody save me. What was she even talking about? Who was I talking to? Oh yeah. She had a sword. Nope, never seen her before in my life. Reimi was still smiling, but was I imagining it? Or did her voice sound like she was interrogating me? I think it was you. What do you care? Was she trying to find out my personal information so she could threaten me or something? No. I wasn't into 3D girls. That was something I was always clear about. Maybe. A freezing chill ran down my spine. Ooh! My sweat was pouring down my forehead, and even though I'd just wiped it away, was that a threat? Or was she telling me to join her? Or was she trying to act moe and seduce me so she could set me up in a trap? My alarm bells were going off in my mind. I couldn't say another word to the demon girl, or I was doomed. I didn't even think about it. I just leapt down on my chair, ran out of the classroom, tripping over other students' desks as I went. Ooh. Baby. Baby man. Nowhere else to go now. I ran straight up the stairs of the school building onto the empty roof. The girl didn't seem to follow me. But still, I couldn't relax. I decided to crouch down and hide behind something. My knees were shaking. I was amazed I managed to run like this. Maybe that was just a sign of how desperate I'd been. It's the same clouds. I couldn't take any more of this reality. Even that D-sword I had bought turned out to be useless. I couldn't even take it to school. It would stand out too much. And also, I don't think you can take even fake weapons to school. I'd let my guard down. When Mizumi had told me that Rimi was our classmate 2 days ago, I thought it was a lie or a delusion. But she'd really become a classmate. There was no sense in trying to figure out how she'd done it. She was a demon after all. She could do things that humans couldn't. Maybe she brainwashed the class. Maybe even all the teachers. I couldn't go to school. I couldn't go to the hospital. Yua had been at cafe and Shogun had found me online. Her servants were getting closer and closer to me, and they were launching constant psychological attacks, too. Maybe I'd do better to just leave the base. There were too many enemies outside in reality. They were constantly threatening my peaceful life. I looked up at the blue sky, where the white clouds were flying, freely blown by the wind. If only I could be one of those clouds. About 3 hours passed. Whoa! And the sun hadn't moved. I spent the whole time silently crouching on the ground for now. Nobody seemed to be following me. Yeah, if nobody's found you after 3 hours, if they were looking for you, they probably gave up. Only after that, I was able to relax. The problem was, what did I do now? Somebody was sure to come to eat during lunch. Maybe my best option would be to run out of school and back to the base during 4th period. Ooh, excuse me. I'm gonna get that drink. It would screw up my schedule, but I didn't have anywhere near the courage I needed if I wanted to go back to class with the demon girl waiting. My bag was still there, and I'd just have to forget about it. The only things in it were books anyway. My important stuff, like my wallet and keys, were all in my uniform pocket, right? I got worried and double-checked. Wallet, keys, phone, they were all there. Only then did I remember that someone had called me earlier. It had really freaked me out when it happened. Not as much as when Rimi spoke to me, though. Yeah, it's a big mystery. Who would want to talk to you? Just kidding, maybe. The only people who could possibly want to call me would be my family. It was most likely Nanami, right? She didn't care about whether she was bothering me or not. Who else would know that number? Oh, I was also told it to those detectives. If it was them, maybe I should have picked up. We never did discuss exactly how they were going to send police officers to guard the base. They were just saying that, I'm sure. The LCD display showed the number of the person who had called. It didn't look like it was Nanami. I noticed I had a voicemail too. Did I recognize that number from somewhere? I decided to check my call history. Panorama. There were only 5 calls there. In other words, only 5 times someone had called me since I'd bought my phone. 3 of them were from Nanami. What about the other 2? Well, one was when you were explaining how phones work in, like, the cafe, right? And then the other was this morning. Ooh, gotta stretch. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. There we go. And there was one from 5 days ago and one just now, since their number wasn't in my contacts. It wasn't showing up as a name. Yep. They were both the same number. 03X733X991. If they left a message, it must mean that they really wanted to talk to me. Yep. That sounds right. Who could it be? The police, most likely. It was... Oh boy. I got the hiccups. Excuse me. It wasn't Mizumi or the demon girl. Both of them were right in front of me when the phone rang. Who else could it be? Maybe Yua? But there was no way she could know my number, and there was nothing I had to say to her now anyway. The only way to find out was to listen to it. I looked around to make sure the demon girl wasn't anywhere nearby, and put the phone to my ear.
こちらは留守番電話サービスセンターです。新しいメッセージは1件です。1件目、10月17日金曜日午前8時28分の伝言です。
Ah, October 17th already happened. I was gonna be like, whoa, same day, but it's not. It's the 22nd. Yeah, what the heck? What I heard wasn't a voice, it was a melody I knew well. It seemed to be playing somewhere far off in the distance. The color might have been standing near a traffic light. You heard that melody a lot at crosswalking to let the blind know the light had changed. The song was called Turients, by the way. A lot of people knew the melody, but not many knew the lyrics. Probably a lot of people knew the melody, but not a lot knew the lyrics. Probably. I knew them for what it's worth. I learned them in elementary school. I didn't remember them completely, but they went something like this. Wait, so if you learned it in school, then a lot of people know it, okay? Pass through, what a narrow path this is. This is a narrow path of Tenjin. I did my best. Oh, I'll continue to do my best. Please let us pass through. None may pass through, but they have business here. Wait. For a child's 7th birthday, the going is easy. Hey, it sounded like the way back is is beep boop beep boop. It sounded like an ambulance or something. It was probably a coincidence, but still, it was creepy. Oh! Just after the melody cut off, I heard what sounded like a loud buzzer. The volume was so loud I yanked my phone away from my ear.
なんだ
Yeah, what the heck? I fearfully put the phone back to my ear, but the message was over. What was that about? I felt like I'd heard the earth rumbling at the end, too. That buzzer was totally different than the traffic signal. If it was that loud, they must have brought it right up to the phone.
いたずら
Probably, I don't know. My heart was racing. Had I done something to piss somebody off? Who'd even made this call? Had their number... I had their number, so I could call back if I wanted to, but I didn't have the courage. There was nothing I could do about it, and anyway, I was still in the middle of something much worse happening to me. I put the phone in my pocket and left the school, watching my surroundings as carefully as I possibly could. Whoa. Oh, let's go running. Let's do laps. Running laps. How many laps? 2. 3. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I forget how many is a mile. 4. Let's do 7. Yep, 7. I did it. I lost count. Takumi Nichijo's alarm meter, Kitazawa Elementary School number 2, was 5 minutes away from a privately operated train station. Usagi... Wait. Yeah, I'm not entirely confident I'm saying it right, but Usagi Ban had the idea of talking to his old teacher, but when he called the school, he found out they'd passed away. Oh no. Instead, he opted to talk to the person who spoke to on the phone, the current head teacher, a man named Kaima? Kaima? And his partner had come here to do just that. It was a Saturday and the school was closed. Ben and Sua were standing in front of the school building looking at it. There was a very eye-catching picture drawn on the outer walls. Ben wasn't the artistic type, so it was beyond him what the thing might be. It looked like a spiral, but it changed into 7 different colors from the top to bottom. So it also felt kind of like a rainbow. Ben waved his fan as he stared at it. Oh, stared as he stared at it. His partner Sua pushed the call button on the gate. Let us in, please. Please let us in. Ooh, let us in. Ben suddenly looked around. It felt like somebody was watching him. It was an unpleasant, clingy sort of gaze.
俺ってそんなにかっこいいか
I don't know. Maybe. He struck a little pose. He looked a little stylish and cool, he thought.
先輩、何変なポーズしてるんすか？
Let him do what he wants.
裏門の方に通用口があるんで、そっちに回ってくれって。
Ben gave up on his pose and sighed. He started to walk. It didn't take long to find the teacher's office. The back gate led to the school's rear entrance, and turn off the hallway inside took you there. There were, of course, no children inside the school. It may have just been the shiny linoleum. Wait, is it linoleum? Or no, yeah, linoleum. But the air felt cooler than it did outside. The air felt cooler. Let's go sit in a chair. Boop, 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 boop. Yep, this is my chair. There were 3 teachers in the teacher's office. One of them stood up and bowed as the detectives entered. His rapidly graying hair was parted, and he had a pleasant smile on his face. This was Kaimo. Ben and Sua brought out their IDs at almost precisely the same time, giving brief introductions before getting to the point. It was Sua's job to do the talking.
ここの卒業生である西条匠くんについて教えていただきたいんですが。
Wait, this is Informer? I skimmed it a little bit.
ではなかったから詳しくとなると無理ですが、それでも構いませんか。
Sua nodded and opened his notebook to start taking down a memo.
西条くんはどんな子だったんですか？
Wait, was? They were talking about him like he died.
難しい子だと聞いていました。特殊だと。
特殊？
本来なら他の生徒に混ざって勉強するのはとても困難な、病気を患っていたらしく。
Oh, so he has like a disability. That's alright.
具体的には？
そこまで私が言ってしまっていいのかどうか。ご家族なり医師なりに聞いていただけますか。
Almost all the schools were like this these days. They didn't want any trouble. Yeah, I know, right? Oh my gosh. They'd refuse to do anything that could result in an angry phone call from an apartment. It made the cop's job a lot harder. Good.
担任の先生はなんで亡くなったんです？
事故です。遠足の最中、乗っていたバスが陥没した道路に。
あ、自分それ知ってるっす。ニュースでやってたっすよね。
Okay, I get it. Oh yeah, they said they were at the elementary school. Oh my gosh. I gotta keep up.
子供たちは怪我をしただけで、幸い命は助かったのですが、斉藤先生だけが犠牲になってしまい、なんともやりきれない思いです。
西条くんもその事故に巻き込まれた。
No. Kaimo took, took his, shook his head softly.
あの子は当日欠席していて、バスには乗っていませんでした。
欠席の理由は？
For fun.
病が悪化したと聞いたような覚えがありますが。
Oh yeah, they probably didn't tell him that. And they just said he couldn't go because they didn't want him to. It's like, yeah. Ben vaguely remembered the incident too. He'd seen the media standing outside the house of the boy who hadn't been injured for days on end trying to get an interview. The boy had never shown himself, however.
あれは悲しい事故だったんですよ。
For some reason, Kaimo repeatedly seemed to put emphasis on the word accident. Yeah, what's up with that? Was it an accident? Did you know it? Having a quick chat with Grim before diving into Iso was becoming a daily routine of mine. We never talked about anything specific. We'd swap information about the latest at-chan threads or talk about naughty stuff. Or our latest favorite manga or anime we'd seen the other day. Stuff like that. Oddly enough, we didn't talk much about Iso, so... excuse me. We do more than Iso. Chat... we do more than enough Iso chat when we were playing after this. Have you heard anything weird about weird pranks lately? It was something I heard. I don't know if it's really something people are doing. I'm gonna move. This is nobody's here right now, but that's okay. That's okay. But like, they play weird noises on your cell phone. Do they say naughty things with a moe voice? Oh lol. What kind of H game is that? I mean, if that was it, I'd love to get pranked. So what kind of whose eyes are those, is it? Grim kept using that phrase. Instantly I felt sick. The sentence didn't even make sense. Was the phrase funny enough that he had to force it in everywhere? I didn't think so. At least, if anything, it was stupid. But I couldn't start an argument until I asked him about the prank. I decided to just put up with it for now. Like the sound of some nasty otaku jacking it. That would be awful. Actually, it was Tairunese. That's a song, right? The one they play on Crosswalks? Yup. And then suddenly, it changed into this buzz noise. And it's really, really loud. You ever heard of a prank like that? I mean, it sounds like something at-channers would do. That strange noise that had been left on my phone yesterday. I didn't know who was behind it, so it was pretty unnerving. So I decided to try and ask Grim. If it was just a prank, I could forget about it. Huh? 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 Why wasn't Grim responding? Yeah, get back here. Where are you? Hello? You fell asleep? There was no answer. It was rare for Grim to pass out on me during a chat. It had never happened before, actually. But if it happened, it happened. I'd see him later in ESO, and I could talk to him then. Just when I was about to get up from my seat. Beck, I ran a search on 8chan about that prank you're talking about. Oh. What was he up to? Searching! It was doing a search, he told you. But that would mean that even Grim didn't know about it. And he usually knew everything. Yeah, usually this guy's a smarty. Nobody was talking about it, though. Nobody was talking about it, though. Not just on 8chan, but on the rest of the internet. Oh, oops, I skipped that, I think. So it must be somebody had a personal grudge against me then. I was starting to get really curious about who it could be, but I didn't have the courage to call them back. I suddenly had an idea. If I knew the phone number, I could have somebody else call it for me. Maybe Nanami or Mizumi. Those would be the two safest bets. No, Mizumi was brainwashed by the demon girl. He wasn't a good choice. Nanami was my little sister, so it would be easy to ask her. She'd get really mad later, probably. But that wasn't my problem. It was the least she could do after all the bullshit she put me through. Like what? I said thanks to Grim and ended the chat, promising to meet up with him later in ESO. My stomach was starting to rumble. I was hungry. Did I have any instant ramen somewhere? I looked, but I didn't find any. I'd have no choice but to go to the convenience store. Fuck! The store. I would go to the store. Grumble, grumble. The sun had already set. I would have preferred to not be out at night if I could avoid it. Lately, some bad things had been happening at night. I headed to the convenience store, my feet moving faster than they usually did. Plays a little piano. To the convenience store. It was Saturday, so normally I would have seen a bunch of people on the street. Today it was empty. All the stores that would usually be open were closed. It was kind of strange. Was it a holiday? Well, I don't know if that happens. Maybe I'd forgotten what time it was. I thought it was 7 p.m., but maybe it was actually 2 a.m. or something. Nah, no way. I'm not that dumb. Still, it was way too quiet. I couldn't hear any of the noises you usually heard in the city. The town felt different somehow. I made it to the convenience store in front of the Shinsen station. Even the area around the station was completely devoid of people. It was starting to get... Oh, excuse me. I was starting to get more scared than a little scared. Oh, okay. More than just a little bit scared. Okay, I get it. 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 Yeah, I get it. I get it. When something you expect to be there suddenly vanishes, it makes you feel like you've been sucked into some strange other world. Normally, I avoided any interactions with other people, but today I longed to see somebody's face. I ran into the convenience store and there should be at least a cashier here, I thought. I looked around. There was nobody. No customers? No employees? Bonkers. That was impossible, right? The cashier must just be in the back. If I took my stuff up to the register, they come right out. They come out right away. I forced myself to take my time picking out a box meal from the refrigerated section. I even pretended to look at the manga magazines before finally putting my meal on the counter next to the cash register. Nobody came out from the back. I looked around, still nobody came out from the back. I took out my wallet and checked how much change I had on me. Nevertheless, nobody came out from the back. I picked up the box meal and made a little noise with it before placing it back down. Oh my god, this is the thing. Just like say excuse me. Like, you know, I get it. Like there's like in the game there's like nobody here and the town's empty and stuff, right? But like just I worked in a lot of customer service and I don't know why customers do this. Just say excuse me. Okay. That's how to get your cashier in a bad mood about doing anything for you. Is if you do stuff like that. Oh yeah. But nobody came out from the back. Yeah. I wouldn't either. Oh, did I push a different button? Did I push the wrong button? What's going on? I didn't have the courage to say anything, even if there was nobody here. Even so, nobody came out from the back. I thought about trying to leave without paying, but I decided I couldn't take any risks. It might end with me getting arrested. Regardless, nobody came out from the back. The cashier must have been taking the garbage out, or their boss was treating them so badly they just walked out. I don't know. Again, nobody came out from the back. Or maybe they're taking inventory or something. And yet nobody came out from the back. I finally got so scared. I just put the thing back on the shelf and left. At least he puts stuff back where it goes. I came to railway crossing right next to the station. You could see the Shinsen station platform clearly from here. There was no way a station platform could be empty, I told myself. It was just impossible. But of course there was nobody there. I decided to wait for the train to come. If a train stopped at the station, people would surely get off. Yeah, everybody went on the train. All together. And even if nobody did, I could see somebody in the train as it went past. If I could open my eyes, maybe I'll see if somebody's here. I waited 10 minutes and there was no sign of any train. I tried to tell myself that there might have been an accident or something that had thrown the schedule off, but there still wasn't a single person on the platform. Only then did I realize the seriousness of the situation. It didn't make sense. This wasn't right. I decided to head to Shibuya Station. There was always somebody there. I was sure of that. The area around Shibuya Station was always busy 24 hours a day. I couldn't take the fear anymore. So I started to run. I ran as fast as I could. Even when I started running out of breath, I still didn't stop. I wasn't sure if I'd ever run so hard my entire life. As I ran, I wished this was all just some awful dream, but it wasn't. My heart and lungs were in so much pain, I thought they'd explode. There was no way this pain could just be a dream. I was surprised at how intense my breathing was. But no matter how much air I took in, the pain didn't go away. Well, this town's empty. I heard down Dogenzaka Hill, and finally got within sight of 107 building. By that point, my legs were barely moving. My body felt incredibly heavy. But I forced my legs to move forward. I didn't even have strength left for looking around me. My entire consciousness was focused on getting me to Scramble Crossing, the symbol of Shibuya. Almost there, just a bit more. I just had to make it past the 107. Then I'd be in the busiest place in Japan, the place where everyone mixes together. When the walking sign changes, that's why it's called Scramble. Scramble! Run! Run! Empty. The whole Scramble Crossing and Shibuya Station were empty. A world without sound. A world that was dead. The air around the crossing was always filled with a flood of sound, but today it was ruled by silence. All I could do was hear the sound of my own panting. I felt my knees in the middle of the road. I couldn't take another step, but more than that, the shock had drained all the strength from my body. There was nobody to my left or right, or my back or front, anywhere. It was the busiest time of the week, 7 p.m. on a Saturday. What was going on here? This couldn't be happening. Blink. I closed my eyes and put my hands over my head. This was a dream, an illusion. It couldn't be real. Sure, I thought I'd want to live a quiet life, but all by myself. I didn't want to get caught up in anything or have anyone meddle in my plans. Oh, like the Twilight Zone. That one where everybody's finally gone and he can read all the books he wants, but then his reading glasses breaks and he goes, "That's not fair." No, this isn't like that. I guess the only similarity is there's nobody around anymore. But that didn't mean I wanted to be the only person in the world. If there was no other people who was going to pay my living expenses. If there was no other people who was going to make the meals I got from the convenience store, if there was no other people who was going to play ESO with me, if there was no other people. Squeaky sound. I heard a sound. It wasn't me. A sound somebody else made. Somebody was here. Someone else was close. I felt saved. It was just a random chance that the crossing looked empty. Nobody was actually disappeared. I hadn't been left alone in the world. I was almost ready to cry from sheer relief. I turned toward the sound. One guy. Who are you? Yeah. It was a boy in a wheelchair. He was silently sitting there, some distance from me, but still, in the middle of the road. It was hard to figure out how old he was. If he just went off his height, I would have thought he was in elementary school. He had a hat pulled down over his eyes. It hurt, making it hard to make out his face. But the boy's voice was strangely clear. It was as if it was being whispered into my ear. I actually found myself turning around to check if someone was behind me, but of course nobody was.
これどうなってるんですか?
I asked him.
どうして誰もいないのか? 君は理由を知ってますか? 知ってるよ.
Whoa. His voice sounded young, but not like a child's.
それより
Uh-huh.
僕のメッセージは受け取ってくれた?
Was it the scary one that I heard earlier? Message? I didn't know what he was talking about.
誰だ? 君は
You gotta be more specific. I get a lot of messages. It could have been any of it could have been like any of the 500 messages I get. So like, gotta be specific. His wheelchair advanced forward, wheels turning just a little. It might have been an old chair because it made a rusty creaky. Oh my god. How can a rusty creaking sound as it went.
その目誰の目? でしょ?
I wasn't sure what to think. Why had this boy suddenly said, "Whose eyes are those?" to me, right here, right now? Who was he?
目覚めるんだ。早く。でないと、もっとたくさんの人が死んじゃうことになるから。君は一体。
I rubbed my eyes, wiping my tears. Only then could I finally see his face. The boy wasn't a boy. His face was wrinkly like an old man. His cheeks were caved in. His eyes sank deep into his skull. The whites cloudy, and he had no eyebrows. Yet his body was as tiny as a child's.
僕は将軍だよ。
It's Shogun. For a moment, I forgot to breathe. My head felt like had been hit by a hammer. The ground seemed to shake. No. It was my body that was shaking. I put a hand on the asphalt to support myself. What had he just said? Shogun? This was Shogun?
忘れないで。君は逃げちゃいけない。
I looked up and saw that Shogun had already turned away from me. His wheelchair was creaking as he slowly disappeared. It didn't even occur to me to try and follow him or ask more questions. Or to punch him in the face for getting me caught in this. I wasn't any good at that stuff. My head was starting to hurt. I felt an ache in my temples and stayed on the ground trying to endure the pain. The silent world suddenly began to fill with static. Who was that voice? Don't look at me. The static began to change into a voice. Somebody was putting their hand gently on my shoulder. Who said that? Oh.
最近の若いもんは
なんかのパフォーマンスじゃないの?
I looked up, still reeling from the headache. The demon girl, Remy, was leaning over me and looking down into my eyes. Her eyes were clear and filled with life. Those eyes stared at me, and only me. Once again, she'd shown up out of nowhere. She put her hands around my arms and tried to help me up. I screamed and pushed her away. Then I came to my senses and looked around. I was still in the middle of the road, but I wasn't alone anymore. There were people all around me walking past me without the slightest bit of interest. Remy seemed like she was about to cry as she looked at me. I screamed. The aching in my head turned into a stabbing pain. I tried to fight through the pain and crawl away from her to put as much distance between her and me as possible. Yeah, get him! I felt a sudden shock in my chest. It stung and stabbed and started to feel hot. Remy had slapped me. Good! This time she was going to kill me. I tried to crawl away as fast as I could, but Remy easily grabbed my hand. She pulled me close with a strength it was hard to believe a girl could have. Well, you're super weak, so yeah. And she held me tight. Her soft body pressed against me gently. It was so warm and I could smell the slightest hint of sweat. Her long flowing hair tickled my nose.
しっかりして。
It was the last thing I expected her to say. I could feel the strength leave my body.
ここにいたら危ないよ。
Her voice sounded a little sad. I couldn't tell if she was crying.
信号赤になっちゃってるから。
I wasn't sure what to think. Wasn't she here to kill me? Why was she saving me? Wasn't that hallucination of people disappearing from Shibuya something she'd forced me to see? Once I'd felt the gentle warmth of her, once she'd held me in her innocent arms, how could I still be sure? How could I stop myself from thinking? Maybe Reimi Takehata wasn't a demon after all. Was I just a fool? Was I falling for her tricks? The one thing I could be sure of was that I felt so safe and peaceful in her arms. What was this strange feeling? Reimi let go and then put her hands up to my chest and looked me in the face. Her eyes were a little red.
お願い。今は私についてきていい？
I nodded. We were standing in the middle of the now empty crosswalk. People on both sides of the road were staring at us as they waited for the light to change. I could hear laughter starting to bubble up from the crowd. The cars all had their headlights pointing at me and were starting to honk their horns. Reimi held my hand tightly and started to run toward the sidewalk. I followed along, letting her pull me forward. We managed to make it through the noise of the horns to the sidewalk. Reimi let out a sigh. No, Reimi let out a sigh of relief and stopped. She was holding my hand. Just touching her made me feel calmer and calmer. It made me want to give into the feeling and stay like this forever. Reimi turned toward me.
無事でよかったね。
Yippee! She looked so happy. I couldn't believe that the look on her face might be a lie or an act. But
話してよ。
I thought of her as my enemy for so long. I thought of her as a demon. If I gave in, I'd cease to be me. That's how it felt, at least.
ごめんごめん。
Teehee. Ooh, gotta stretch. Oh. Should I go?
それにしてもびっくりした。タクが道の真ん中でうずくまってるんだもん。信号が赤になった時はどうなることかと。
She sounded happy. I turned away and started to push through the crowd and walk forward.
僕帰る。
じゃあ送るよ。具合悪いんでしょ？
I could hear her chasing after me, but I shook my head no.
タク。
The cheerfulness in her voice had vanished. It felt really bad since she'd just saved me, so...
ありがとう。
I just barely managed to speak out the words. Ooh, wait, no, I don't... No, I won't go on the whiteboard. I'll be this guy. I certainly didn't think they'd end up merging all three of the task force into one. Yusuji Ban, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry. Or Yasuji Ben sighed bitterly to himself as he looked at the rows of detectives assembled in Shibuya Police Station's large conference room. The Inokashira Line Shibuya Station bathroom murder, what the media had taken to calling vampire pushed the Shibuya police's available manpower to the absolute limit. And with 3 bizarre murders in the same district, it was looking more and more likely that the single culprit was responsible for all of them. Some officers had suggested leaving the Cornelis Tower suicides to the Youth Crime Division, but the media was treating them as part of New Gen. And they'd taken a lot of flack if it seemed like they were leaving it out. It was only natural that HQ would decide to bring the task force together into one big team. Right now, the new, bigger group was going back over each of the cases individually. There was a big screen at the front of the room showing slides of crime scenes. Sua had been assigned to give the briefing on them. He and Ben had been up all night frantically going through the case files for all 4 cases. Good luck, kid, Ben said to himself, resting his head on his palm.
コーネリアスタワー集団投身自殺事件の発生は9月7日っす。です。
Oh yeah, I like this music.
保証している4つの事件の中では一番最初に発生してます。午後11時半ごろ、渋谷コーネリアスタワー屋上のヘリポートから男女5人が転落、全員死亡しました。5人は全員未成年の高校生、男が3人、女が2人。ただし5人のうち男女1人ずつだけが同じ学校なだけで、それ以外の3人はいずれも別の学校でした。5人それぞれの爪の間にわずかな肉片が残っており、手のひらに引っかき傷があったことが司法解剖で判明しました。そこから5人は互いに手をつないだ状態で転落したと推測されます。
Yeah, probably.
屋上には遺書らしきものはなし。被害者5人は学校帰りに待ち合わせてコーネリアスタワーへ向かったようです。なお、事件性があることを示す根拠としては、コーネリアスタワーを
Oh my gosh.
関係者以外立ち入り禁止であったことが挙げられます。
I just realized what that picture was. Yeah. I thought it was a flower. Like a abstract flower. Oh dear goodness.
事件があった時間、屋上への扉は施錠されており、その扉のドアノブに被害者5人の指紋は付着してませんでした。また、5人の遺品からも扉の鍵は見つかっていません。このことから、被害者以外の第三者が事件前後にその現場にいた可能性があります。その第三者が扉の鍵を持っており、事件前あるいは事件後に鍵を閉めて立ち去ったという線で捜査を続けてます。コーネリアスタワーのホテル従業員全員への聞き取り調査は終了。ほぼ全員にアリバイがありました。 今はタワーに入っている企業の社員に話を聞いているところです。被害者たち5人には今のところ自殺する理由は見つかっていません。家族、友人、学校の教師など5人中4人の関係者が口を揃えて自殺する理由などないと断言してます。
Oh. The slide changed, moving to the second case, the murder of the college kid and unborn baby under the Shibuya station tracks.
続いて、通称妊娠男事件についてですが、事件発生は9月19日、通称集団ダイブ事件から12日後。第一発見者は現場近くのカラオケ店店員。遺体発見は午前5時前後。被害者は渋谷区在住の大学3年生、近衛千鶴夫21歳。
Whoa.
発見された時にはすでに死亡してました。死亡推定時刻は遺体発見の約4時間前、19日の午前1時頃です。遺体は腹部が不自然に大きく膨れ上がっており、中から胎児が発見されました。司法解剖の結果、被害者は生きたまま腹部を何者かに切開され、その中に胎児を入れられたようです。胎児はすでにその時点で亡くなっていたと思われます。被害者が死亡したのは腹部を縫合された後、縫合した部分をかきむしったり、縫合糸を一部引きちぎった形跡が見られました。妊娠8ヶ月ぐらいの状態で、母親の体から帝王切開で取り上げられたと考えられます。胎児の母親については今のところ見つかってません。その生死についても不明です。 DNA 鑑定の結果、胎児と被害者には血縁関係はありませんでした。ちなみに胎児の血液型は B 型、被害者の血液型は A 型です。
AB. So paused to take a breath. Talking so much had tired him out. It looked like giving a presentation in front of this many older detectives was probably nerve-wracking too.
次に第3の事件、丸山町貼り付け殺人事件です。
There was a slight pause before the crucifixion slide came up.
これが現場写真です。事件発生は9月29日。被害者は太田久志、56歳、都東大学教授。第一発見者は現場のすぐ近くのアパートに住む男性。
New model looking good! Oh, thank you! Yeah, hello, how's it going? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, no, it's up there. Okay. I moved it a little bit. Oh, wait. The other one's just like... Yeah.
被害者の死因は絞殺でした。殺害された後で10本程度の釘を使って貼り付けにされていました。
Let's see. Here, let's get out. Boop, 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 boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, okay. Of course they would put them all in there.
見ての通り、遺体には外傷はほとんどありません。釘についても、貼り付けは一部肉体を貫通しているものもありましたが、基本的には衣服を通して貼り付けられている状態です。マスコミでは貼り付け、血の惨劇などと謳われてますが、出血は全くなし。釘はドイツのクロイツナーゲル社が販売している特徴的な長い十字架のような杭です。 犯人が十字架型をあえて選んだということから、宗教的な側面からも捜査を進めてます。
Poor man, what did he do to get nailed to a wall? I don't know. I guess he was just there.
事件の起きた21時から21時半の間に、現場周辺で壁に杭を打ち付ける音が数十分続いていたという証言が複数得られました。被害者の死亡推定時刻がほぼそれと同じ時間であることから、おそらく被害者は現場かそのすぐ近くで殺害されたと思われます。また信憑性は怪しいですが、事件現場で私立水明学園の女生徒を見たという証言も上がってます。最後に井の頭線渋谷駅トイレ殺人事件、通称ヴァンパイア事件です。事件発生は10月10日、遺体発見は午前5時半頃、駅員が発見しました。
I wonder if, like, you would turn green if all your blood was taken away. Oh, wait, no, they put something else. They replaced his blood. No, yeah, they'll tell us.
被害者の身元は今のところ不明。身元を示すような遺留品は一切ありませんでした。死亡推定時刻は前日の午前10時から午後6時の間。遺体の血液はすべて抜かれており、まるでミイラのような状態で放置されていました。ご存知の通り、この写真が何者かによって撮影され、遺体発見より15分ほど前にインターネットのオークションに出品されており、
Ben grimaced a little as he listened to the explanation. This was the killer's way of saying that death had become fashion or something. It's fashionable to murder. Ooh. We're in chapter 4. Ooh, boy. Take a drink. And let's see. Okay, I'll do a little bit of this. Whoa, how does the full outfit look like? Oh yeah. Let me get it. Oh, wait, did I even take any pictures of the full one? 'Cause like VC Face doesn't do like a... Oh yeah, here's one. Where is... Oh, here it is. Here. Gotta shrink it a little. Oh, there's two of me. Ba-bum! I'll probably come up with like a sheet sometime whenever. But yeah. Whoop. Here is the full outfit. I did shorts this time because I don't know. Yeah. I was also thinking that I'd do like, whoa, quite nice. Yeah. I was thinking because like I'm still gonna use the other one that I have. And I work on a system. I need like some sort of rhyme and reason. Oh, I guess like other than like I feel like it for that day. Like other than that, I'd probably, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out when and why I use each one, each model. But yeah. I also made it, I did maroon, because my cat's, is a tortoiseshell calico, and her name is Maroon, so I thought I'd do maroon. This has MKR serious look to it? MKR? What's MKR? Oh, more. Oh yeah, that's alright, It does, yes. The other one looks a little, like, I don't know. I was also a little worried that it still wouldn't look similar enough. But then I was like, well, like, I got the eyes. That's most of it. And I got the little cats I draw all the time. In the star. Yeah. Ooh. I'll be this person walking. Whoop. Oh, I went upside down too. What? Whoa. Oh wait, did I flip? Oh my gosh. I flipped. How do I flip back? Oh no. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah. I'll be this person. Science City was a pair of buildings located in just south of Shibuya Scramble Crossing. The easiest building was the east. Oh my gosh. The east building was located next to Shibuya Station. There was a small plaza just inside the entrance, which was the small. Where was I? Oh my god. There was a small plaza just inside the entrance, which was often used as a meeting spot, even if it wasn't as famous as the Hachiko or Moyai Staus. A dozen or so people were in there now, waiting and playing with their phones. One of them was standing alone with a curious, stern expression on her face. Whip. She was a teenage girl named Sena Aoi. If you went down the escalator on the second floor of Science City, the one that led away from the Inokashira line station, watching her surroundings carefully. Despite her stern expression in the season, she was nibbling on a popsicle. It was kind of cute in a way. Of course, she wasn't waiting for anyone. She was quietly observing the people coming and going around her. From where she was standing, you could see all the way to the big TVs at the scrambling crossing. They were showing a promo for some famous singer at the bottom of the screen and scrolling a line of text talking about the New Gen murders. Not a day went by she didn't see something about New Gen. The TV, the papers, the net, the magazines, even the big TVs in the city. Senna wasn't interested in them at all, but by walking through Shibuya, she would often hear people talking about the murders. Whose eyes are those? Lately, she'd been hearing people wearing... Yeah, I hear people wearing shirts. She'd been seeing people wearing t-shirts with that question printed across their fronts. It had gotten its start as an underground meme in Shibuya, and now it was getting out of control. Somebody at Harajuku gift shop had started selling t-shirts, and they'd sold pretty well. At least that's what she'd heard. A smiling man says as she passed by her on the street. It was a good sign of how little people cared about anything but themselves. She gave a little snort of contempt before she ate the last bite of the popsicle. She looked at her eyes, the stern expression still on her face. She listened to the noise of the city on Sundays. The area around the station was filled with many different sounds. Trains rattling into the station, taxi horns, people talking as they walked, music from big TVs and inside shops, the city, at Sign City, announcements endlessly telling you how to safely ride an escalator. The sounds never stopped. As soon as one another took its place, all different sounds layered together into a distant jumble of static. Senna focused on the noise, directed to her attention to the people's voices. Her brain shut out any other sound. She could hear the words clearly.
結局全部同じ犯人なのかな。
違うってニュースで言ってたぞ。手口が違いすぎるって。なんでバンドの歌詞と一緒らしいじゃん。ファンタズムなんだよ。知らないなんてさ。じゃあ CD 貸せよ。くれてるよな。
ほら、これ見てくれ。この前買って超ゲルの夢誰でも言って結構来るじゃない。
The voices get louder.
でもあれじゃね。これってニュージェネの犯人に殺してくださいってアピールしてるようなもんじゃん。俺もいよいよ全国デビューか。
最近渋谷超
Oh, they keep talking.
そういうキモい男とかだけ殺してほしいよね。マジ応援する。
Senna let out a little grunt. She stopped listening almost immediately. The noises offered her nothing useful in the end. The noise was just noise.
この視線の感覚。気のせいか。
Senna looked around one more time. For a while now, she'd had this awful feeling like a cold finger running down her spine. Someone's gaze was upon her, but she couldn't find out who it was. Senna stepped away from the pillar she'd been leaning up against. And then, as if she'd remembered she was holding it, she stared down at the popsicle in her hand. Dang it. She looked even more upset as she walked quickly toward the station.
あの空はどうしてあんなに泣きたくなるくらい青いのかな。
Like that Mr. Blue Sky by ELO. Because that's what I wished for.
私は望んでない。
I did. This is your mental world. But it's mine too.
ねえ、あの空はどこにあるの？
Outside. Anywhere if you wish for it.
望んでいいの？
Yes. Make all the wishes you want. You... Oh, oh my god. I didn't read that one. Oops. Yesterday's Blood Team was such a great episode. Seiyutan had a lot of cool scenes, and there were also a sexy kiss. The animation quality was top notch too. I ripped off the covers and got off the sofa with a moan. When I hit the switch on the alarm, Seiyutan's voice abruptly stopped. Yep, that's what the switch. That's what the switch is for. My Syria voice alarm was a treasure of mine. If you didn't flip the switch, the volume would get gradually louder and louder before switching to an intense buzzer sound, as she is known to make. I wanted to start my morning waking up with Seiyutan, which meant I always tried to flip the switch before the buzzer sounded. I'd only ever failed twice. Hello, how's it going? Waking up with Seiyutan always put me in a great mood. Well, no, actually playing games all night and sleeping on the hard sofa made me feel like crap. But having Seiyutan wake me up and did make me a little... It did make the little bit of pain go away. What are you doing up so late? What do you mean? It's only like, 8. I don't know, Did you get a haircut? Yeah. I made a new model. And I decided to use it today. Ding! I made it, I'm a tortoiseshell calico. And I made it maroon because, my cat is a tortoiseshell calico and her name's Maroon. Today was a school day. I'd missed a full day last week, and it started to throw off my schedule. I was supposed to only go twice this week, but thanks to that, I'd have to go 3 times. I didn't want to go, but I had to. Any more skipping and I couldn't graduate. To be honest, even if I couldn't graduate, it wouldn't make that big of a difference for me. Yeah, I guess. Got no aspirations for life, I guess. I just had a dream about Remy. It was a strange dream. Somehow nostalgic. Somehow lonely. Somehow sad. And somehow incredibly distant. I wondered if she was coming to school today. I'd spent a lot of time thinking about what happened 2 days ago. I'd spent so much time thinking about it that it cut into my ESO time. Whoa, that's a risky look. Wait, what is? Who, the figure? I didn't think much about Shogun, or the delusions of the empty Shibuya. They didn't seem at all important to me. Like the color a lot better? Yeah. Put some pants on, ma'am. She could be pantsless if she wants. I assume she's like 20, right? I don't know. If she's 20, then it'd be alright. Oh, you like the colors a lot better? Yeah, you're more like a red. Seems good, yeah. I like green a lot. And then like I don't know, yeah. It was hard to believe that Shogun had could be an old man like that, and thinking back, the idea of every single person disappearing from Shibuya just seems silly. Dark red suits, green eyes, yeah, it does. I was gonna do like a red and green, but then I was like, oh wait, it'd be more like Christmas then. It was a very realistic delusion, but I found myself embarrassed by how easily I'd believe something so impossible could happen. What was more important was Remy, the girl I called the demon girl, until just a little bit ago. In that place, where it felt like a strange floating dream, she'd held me tight and I could still remember the feeling of her body. Your green shirt is bright? Yeah, it is bright. I tried to... I tried to get like a different green, but I couldn't figure out like... Because like some greens looked a little weird. I could probably take green from my eyes. Or I think that's what I did. I don't know. Flashbang. If she hadn't done that, I might have gone crazy. Why had Remy saved me? Was it because we were friends? I didn't have any memories at all of us using classmates since our first year of going to see a movie with her and Mizumi. But the way she treated me, the way she treated a good friend, when she'd held me tight, she looked a little like she was about to cry. That, at least, didn't seem like an act she was putting on. I'd never met a girl who'd cry over a creepy otaku like me. I bet, yeah. After seeing it, the fear and suspicion I'd felt had just blown away. In fact, I almost felt like I could fall in love with her, though I stopped myself from going that far. You feel like that about everyone. He says that every time about everyone. What I felt most was uncertainty. How should I face Remy from here on out? Was she my friend or my enemy? She was responsible. Was she responsible for the New Gen murders? It was an undeniable fact that she'd saved me. But it was also true that I'd seen her covered in blood at the site of the it's a hard word. At the site of the crucified murder. Whoop, whoop. I stopped at Shoto Park on my way to school. Ever since the incidents with Yua, I'd quit my habit of eating breakfast here. The idea that Yua could be out there somewhere watching me made it impossible to enjoy my meal. And even worse, if she came to talk to me, I'd love to listen to a bunch of delusional nonsense. I didn't have any time to deal with her. Yua works for Reimei. That was my original idea, but it may have been wrong. That didn't mean that Yua wasn't an enemy, though. Maybe Shogun was the big boss, and Yua was working for him. Whatever the case, it'd be best if I stayed away from her. But today, I'd come here for some reason anyway. I looked around, carefully making sure Yua was nowhere to be seen. Then I slowly sat down on my bench. It was mine. It had my name on it. I carved it right here. I took a bite out of the chocolate pastry I'd brought at the convenience store and looked out at the lake. There was barely any wind, and the water surface was still and calm. Once in a while I could see what might be a carp moving through the cloudy water. You had fun this week? I did! I saw some chickens and some kittens and I just went and hanged out. Yeah. There was nobody in the park today, which was rare. It was a very quiet space. As I looked around the park, I found myself thinking about Reimei again. To be honest, I'd almost decided to go to school today just to avoid facing her again. That's why I'd come to the park to buy some time. Gross chickens? I thought they were sweet. I gave them worms and seeds. They loved it. I raised them since they were babies. Of course I think they're cute. I felt like I'd said all kinds of awful things to her. But she'd always smiled and been kind to me. And I was sure if I went to school again, she'd come up and talk to me like she always had. Aw, yeah! Little chickies. She pretended that what she'd experienced in front of the 107 had never happened. She'd smiled and treated me like a friend. Part of her constantly cheerful nature did seem a little obnoxious, but it also felt like if I stayed with her, I might start to feel a little cheerful too. What should I say when I meet her? I didn't think of her as a demon anymore, but it was also true that I didn't think of her as a friend. Mizumi had said that she and I had been friends and classmates for over 1.5 years, but I had no memories of that at all. And maybe something had broken within me after all. But could my memories of Reimei disappear while everything else remained intact? Was that possible? I guess it is now. I don't know how you did it, but you did it! Bloop. I went into the school building, her head pointed toward the ground as always. I did my usual thing of walking slowly on the side of the hallway while I headed for the stairs. My class was on the 3rd floor. It was kind of a pain to get there. I wished there was an escalator, actually. What? An escalator in the school? That sounds like a nightmare, actually. As I got up the stairs, I saw a girl who slowly staggering up them. She was dragging her right leg. Did she sprain it or something? Her tiny body was kind of wobbling as she walked. She looked like she might fall over at any minute. The other students were quickly passing by her while she went slowly up each step. From below, I could almost see her panties. Oh my god! Dude! Crap. If I didn't do something, I'd look like a pervert. Probably because you are. I didn't want anybody calling me a creep. I tried to quickly walk past her when... Oh, you knocked her over. Oh my god. The girl tripped on the stairs and staggered forward. And then she fell hard on her face. Fortunately, she was standing on the landing when she'd fallen, so she didn't end up rolling down the stairs, but she was trying to just lying there on her knees, not moving. She lay like face down and wasn't moving. Yeah. But this was the beginning of something romantic? No! Why do you think this every time? Is nothing platonic with you? Not a chance, even if it was. I didn't have the courage to talk to her. I'm like, at least help her up, I don't know. I quickly slipped past her. Sorry, but get help from Mizumi or somebody else who likes 3D girls. LMAO, yeah. This guy. You don't have to like someone to help them. You could just help them out of the kindness of your heart. Don't expect anything from me, yeah. But the girl still wasn't moving, and I started to get a little worried. When I got halfway up the second set of stairs, I turned around and checked on her. She was clinging to the railing and trying her hardest to stand up. Her knees were shaking like she was a newborn deer. There was blood on her knee. Maybe she'd scraped it. Yeah, probably. That's probably what happened. I'd seen her face somewhere before. She was the one who transferred into my class last week. What was her name again? I couldn't remember. And she was crying, too. My god. Did it hurt that badly? Sure, it was a bad fall, but it shouldn't have been enough to make her cry. But you don't know that. Nobody else was trying to help her. She finally managed to just barely stand up and then began to look down at her knees. She seemed to be checking how badly it was hurt. Yeah, probably. She wiped away her tears and then put her bag down and started to rummage through it. What was she trying to find, I wondered? I don't know, Band-Aid? Maybe? She suddenly pulled something out of her bag and held it above her head like she'd won a victory. In her fingers, she held a bandage. Yep. That makes sense. Our eyes met. She quickly flushed with embarrassment and looked down. Well, she seemed okay. She didn't need help, at least, right? I decided to just head to my classroom and leave her there. I kept my head down, and my gaze glued to my feet as always. I arrived at my seat wordlessly. Actually, I hadn't Hadn't that girl said something to me that on that day? She transferred here. I'd forgotten all about it with what happened with Remy, but what had she meant? As always, Mizumi said hello to me. He didn't have any friends beside me. Yeah, well, the same could be said about you. That would explain why he only ever seemed to talk to me, at least.
聞いてくれよ。昨日さ、怪しいおっさん2人が校長室に入ってくのを見たんだ。
Whoa. Interesting.
で、俺とリミトでこっそり盗み聞きしてみたらびっくりしたぜ。その2人、刑事だったんだぜ。え
？Detectives?
なんか深刻そうに全校生徒の名簿とか見ててよ。もしかしてニュージェネと関係あんのかな？
Probably did a murder happen here. And maybe maybe the new gen killer goes to our school. Interesting. For some reason, I found myself thinking about Remy's face. I'm in the way. There we go. My body froze. Speak of the devil, I heard Remy's voice, and my heart rate jumped. Ooh. I couldn't look up, I was too nervous. It was a totally different type of nervousness than what I'd felt last week, though.
あれはお前がドア勝手に開けたせいだぞ。分かってんのか？
しょうがないでしょ。本物の刑事さんって見るの初めてだったからちょっと興奮しちゃってつい。
And then what? Oh, open the door, yeah.
どうやったらついドアを開けるんだよ。おかげで俺らまで刑事から話を聞かれる羽目になったんだからな。
大臣ってば刑事さんに聞かれちゃまずいことでもあったの？
そういうお前はどうなんだ？
さあね。
The two of them were talking. One on each side of my desk. I was sandwiched. They were both totally ignoring me. But to be honest, I preferred it that way. If Remy talked to me, I wasn't sure I could answer back. I was hoping that the bell would ring, but when I looked over at the clock, I saw that there were 5 minutes until the first bell.
そういやタク、ここに来る途中で梢ちゃん見なかったか
？Kozue? Who's that?
ああ、そっか。どうせお前のことだから覚えてねえとは思ったけど、マジでそうだったんだな。
Yeah.
先週転校してきた子のことだよ。
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, so her name is Kozue Orihara.
階段で
階段
見た。
お、そっか。じゃあもうすぐ来るな。
Misumi's voice was filled with eager anticipation. I hadn't seen him this alive since he'd found out that FES was a girl in the next class over a few days ago. I'd never seen him this excited about anything that didn't involve girls, actually. Come to think of it, I hadn't even tried to hit on the... Oh, wait. Oh, he... Come to think of it, hadn't he tried to hit on the transfer student on the first day, too? It was kind of impressive, actually, especially since he already had a girlfriend. I don't think that's impressive.
梢ちゃんってマジ可愛いと思わねえ
Damn sussy wussy. This sussy wussy guy. I wasn't sure how to answer that. I gave him a vague nod. He seemed to take it as a yes.
太郎俺一目で気に入っちまったよ。なんか守ってやりたくなるんだよな。男子みんなも同じ意見だよ。ドイツも可愛いって言ってんだ。けどよ、女子の間じゃあんま評判良くねえんだよな。まだ転校してきたばっかだぜ。それなのに早くもうざいみたいな意見まで出てきてんだ。
Oh, jeez.
このクラスの女子って性格悪いやつ多すぎだ。
それって大臣の
Don't know she's eating me. I got chomped. That's. Oh wait, no, she said that. She
大
already said
体そのうざいって言ったのどうせ大臣の彼女でしょ。
ああ、そうだけど。
そりゃあ彼女にしてみればうざいに決まってるよ。自分の彼氏が目の前で折原さんを口説きに行っちゃってたらさ、私でさえよく喧嘩売られるんだから、大輔君に近寄らないでって。しかも一人じゃなくて何人かから言われた。
マジ？
自覚なしか。少しは反省したら？
Yeah, yeah.
いやー、モテる男は辛いぜ。
Oh, jeez, this guy. This sussy
さ
wussy.
すが女の敵。私フォローしてあげないからね。あ、折原さん来た。
なんか怪我してるみたいじゃね？
Yep,
本当だ。どうしたんだろう。
she fell. I saw it all. It was from when she tripped on the staircase. Of course, I didn't tell them that. For now, I wanted to minimize the amount of time I spent talking to Remy.
俺、ちょっと言ってくれ。
Oh, yeah, this guy. Mizumi ran off toward the transfer student. Remy was now the only one standing next to me. Please, Mizumi, don't leave me. Remy didn't say anything, but she didn't make any move to leave either. She kept staring down at my desk, so I couldn't see the look on her face. I could only see her waist, but I couldn't tell that she was facing me. I couldn't tell that she was facing me. She was looking at me. What should I say? Some kind of normal greeting? But I never say hello to anybody, which meant if I started here, it would seem really unnatural. Talking about the transfer student? But I never gossip with Remy at all. So if I started now, it would seem really unnatural. I think anything you say would be unnatural. In my opinion. Thank her for the other day? Yeah, that sounds good. No, I should apologize for being mean after she'd saved me. That also sounds good. Ask her what she's doing there? Sure. Or ask her if she held me close because she liked me. Yeah. Or maybe ask her what she's doing at the scene of the crucified. Oh my god. No, no way. None of those were things I could ever bring up in a casual conversation. Well, some of those are pretty normal. I mean, like, I don't know. Damn it. What was I supposed to do? The silence was making the pressure worse and worse. I need to say something. It would be even more awkward to just sit here in silence. I knew both these things were true, but the words didn't come. I hated dealing with the 3D world so much. How could anybody deal with this place if just trying to talk made you feel like you were choking? I needed to get home and have Seri-ten make me feel better. Remy finally spoke. My body shivered. I still couldn't look up. Remy's voice dropped low. It felt like I could feel her breath faintly tickling my ear. Looking up to see her face was close, and she was whispering to me. Her body was close to mine. Her soft, warm body that had held me close in the middle of the road. The sensation of her body filled my mind, and I couldn't think about anything else. Pink is sus? Yeah, but what about her? I nodded forcefully several times. That was all she said before she turned and did a little pose. Ding! Before she turned to go away. Suddenly I wanted to ask her. She'd said whatever I'd done was dangerous. She murdered... Oh yeah! Well, I think that was like a delusion he had or something. I'm guessing. What did she think I had been doing? From the fact that she hadn't brought them up, she might not know anything about the people disappearing from Shibuya or Shogun and his wheelchair. I didn't want... I did that... did that mean they really were part of my delusions? I wanted to ask Remy that. But I didn't feel like I could raise my hand and ask any more questions. Not today, anyway. I wasn't ready. I'd asked next time. Next time I come to school. Yeah. That was it. It takes some time and think about everything I needed to ask. The transfer student? Yeah. Why would she be coming over here? Was she going to get mad at me for not helping her on the stairs? She didn't look like that type of girl. Maybe she wanted to talk to Remy, not me. The transfer student stopped right next to Remy. Or Remy. I think I've been saying her name wrong. Remy. She wasn't saying anything. What was going on? Was Remy here? I couldn't look... Wait, with Remy here, I couldn't look up. The transfer student's feet seemed to be nervously fidgeting, but she didn't say anything. For some reason, she put a single bandage on the edge of my desk. It was a fancy one, and had a weird character, a Garofroggy, on it. Huh? Take this band-aid. For fun. Was she giving me this? I wasn't sure how to react to that. This transfer student, Kozue Orihara, was a bit of an odd one. Take a look in the mirror. Huh? Was she crying? Why was she crying? Because I didn't say anything? But she didn't say anything either, right? Remy backed me up. It felt strange. Yeah, someone's backing me up this time. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about Remy, but she knew all about me.
彼ってあまり人と目を合わせようとしないの。引っ込み思案ってやつ。だからそんなにガチガチに緊張しなくてもね。私にも絆創膏くれるの？ありがとう。
Everyone gets band-aids! Yay! The transfer student suddenly lowered, bowed. Suddenly, the transfer student suddenly lowered under the ground. The transfer student suddenly bowed and ran back to her own seat.
なんだかよくわかんないんだけど、タク、その絆創膏もらってあげるべきだと思う。
Yeah. Why was she giving it to me? Oh. Fun.
小杖ちゃん、無口だよな。
Oh. I could sense Mizumi coming back. I don't know. I don't know if you can hear it, but my cat's meowing a bunch.
転校初日に俺が校内を案内したんだけどよ。
うわ、早くも手出したんだ。
まだ出してねえっつうの。んで、まあ1時間ぐらいかけてあちこち回ったんだけど、もう俺一人で延々と喋り続けたよ。あん時はさすがにじーっと疲れたぜ。しかもすぐ泣きべそかく。
そうそう、今も急に泣き出したから何が起きたかと思ってあたふたしちゃった。
Well, no, maybe she has social anxiety.
そんだけピュアなんだよ。なあタク、お前ならわかるだろう。小杖ちゃんの仕草一つ一つの可愛さってのがよ。お前流に言うなら萌えってやつだ。なんだ、クソでも我慢してんのか？
Oh, I thought it said shirt, and I'm like, what does he mean holding in a shirt? Yeah. I shook my head as hard as I could.
タク、さっきからちっとも喋ってくれないんだ。
Yep, not a single one. That's because you're here, Remy. I'm not ready to talk to you. I'd never really talked to a female friend before. That's probably because you... Oh my god. I never even had a female friend.
でもさ、今折原さんと話してみてなんとなく思ったんだけど、彼女と話してるとなんだか疲れちゃいそうかもなんて。
女子ってのは マジで同性に対して容赦ねえな。ま、梢ちゃんは俺が守るからいいけどな。
I don't know.
ほんの数十秒前に大地も相手するの疲れたって言ってなかった？
うっせ。梢ちゃんはタクと同じ匂いがするぜ。ほっとけねって感じ？
それはわかるかも。
They're just looking at me talking to each other. They're looking me in the eyes, not talking to me. They're talking to each other. Just kidding. Okay. I'm getting really tired. It's almost been 4 hours. Ooh. Well, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.